Alright guys, so welcome to class 7 of the breakthrough course. I can't believe it's already class 7, but today we'll be starting on composition. So I'll be going over the 7 principles of design. Yeah, we got class 7 and 7 principles of design. How convenient. Pretty cool. Alright, so this is basically what I've been going over throughout the critiques, whenever I talk about composition, along with the rules of third, the golden ratio. But I'll discuss all that later on in the next class. Today I just want to talk about the 7 principles. So first, I want to start with balance, and basically balance. All balance is it's visual weight in a scene. Uh, and you can have a primary, you can have a secondary, and you can have a third, point of interest. Okay, so you have your primary, which is basically your focal, your secondary, which is your second, and then, it's pretty much self-explanatory. It's just basically like a hierarchy of different areas. It could be asymmetrical or symmetrical to even out the piece and even causes the eye to move around the whole scene. All right. Next thing we have is contrast. And with contrast, it's pretty much self-explanatory. Contrast, you want your contrast to be in your focal area, wherever you want the attention drawn the most. All right. You can achieve contrast through value, light, shadow. You can achieve contrast through complementary colors. Say, for instance, like blue, orange. So contrast can be achieved in different ways. So that's another principle. Another one is emphasis, and we've already went over emphasis over and over and over again. That's your focal. Emphasis and focal, focus, whatever. That's where you want to emphasize your main attention. That's where you want to draw people the most. Your main character, the person that's the main character of the scene. Who you want people to see. All right. That's where you put your contrast. That's where you put everything to make that main character pop. All right. So then we got movement, and movement is basically like I discussed earlier and through the critiques. It's implied lines. Uh, you know, Lines that can move the viewer around. All right. Direct the viewer, which could be accomplished with diagonal lines, vertical lines, horizontal curves. It's basically like the underground structure or grid work, which holds the image together. Okay, a lot of artists actually use this whenever they're planning out their composition. Whenever before they even lay paint to a canvas or start sketching, they'll plan out their composition. Even in photography or movies, it's just like I said, it's just the structure, the foundation of what you lay down before you actually put it down on, you know, the canvas or whatever. All right. So then we have pattern. Pattern is basically it it makes the image, aesthetic. It makes it pleasing to the eye. If you have a pattern going on, well, actually, all these, is what makes the image pleasing to the eye. But pattern is basically you have similar patterns going on. Um, that's also like moving the eye around. The patterns are reading. Um, yeah, it's repeated lines and shapes, exactly. Um, and that's basically all it is in a nutshell, is repeated lines and shape. If you have different patterns going on, working around the scene, then you're also moving the eye around, okay? And it's not boring, you know, it's interesting. All right. So that's another tool, that's another principle of design that can be used to add interest to the scene. Then we have rhythm. And rhythm is basically rhythm is the flow of objects. Flow of objects. So say like proportion. All right. So like I showed earlier, like you have one person in the foreground, then you have another person in the middle ground, then another person in the background, and you might have other objects or people in the background going further and further and further back. All right, that's your rhythm happening. Okay, um, you're given that illusion of that depth. Okay. What the rhythm does is it just, you know, it's just like the movement and pattern. It just it moves the eye around um, in a rhythmic way. All right. So then we have unity, and unity is basically bringing all this together. It's bringing the balance, the contrast, the emphasis, the movement, the pattern, and the rhythm all together in one. So when you have unity in an image, then you have all these principles applied. Okay. So when you have unity, you know that the image reads well. You know that everything is in there. All right. So now let's go ahead and let's go ahead and work out some examples. And we'll start with balance first. Okay, so like I said with balance, basically you just balance in the image. Okay, well, let's go ahead and create like a fake canvas. All right, so let's just draw some shapes. I'm gonna show you all an example of balance. All right. So let's say we have like a table, okay? So we have like a table right there. And then we have like a vase or whatever that is. A wine bottle or whatever, okay? Now, right now, this is kind of unbalanced, okay? Because all you have is an object right here on one side, all right? But you have nothing over here. You have nothing holding the weight over here. Even better, let's say you don't even have the table there. Let's say you just have the wine bottle. The left side is more heavy. You have nothing over here. This is the illusion that you have nothing around this area. Basically, it gives you, so you have this big wide, which basic gap, because all of your attention is weighed in over here. Same thing if it was on the left side or in the middle. There's no balance. There's nothing balancing it out. Okay, but let's say you had the wine bottle. Let's go back to the. Oops. Oh, guess I can't. All right. Let's say you have the wine bottle, and you have like, you know, I don't know, something over here like a plate or a bowl or something. All right. Instantly you have balance because now you have something over here, but then you also have something right here. So they're balancing each other out. Okay. So that way you don't have this big gap with nothing in it. And you don't have this taking all the weight. All right. Even better, let's say we put something behind the bowl, like a piece of fruit. Now you have even more. You have even more balance. You have like three objects at different shapes. Okay. You have them different forms, different shapes, and balance. Like pretty much anything can be a tool for balance. Shapes, lines, value, color, contrast, really anything can help you with balance. Lighting, shadows, yeah. Or as Fleur put it, it's like yin and yang, yeah. Um, Now let's give another example. Let's say you have like let's say you have like a little boat over here. And you have your water, okay? Right now, the boat's taking the weight over here because there's nothing over here, okay? But let's say you have a sun, all right? Then you have balance, okay? Because you have something else holding the weight over here. It's like a scale, okay? Really cheesy scale, but if you have a scale, it has equal weight, okay? All right? If you have the same object on both sides. But if you take one object away, then instantly the scale is going to weigh over, right? It's going to go that way. So you can think of it like that too. So then it's unbalanced because the weight is tipping to this side. All right. So that's pretty much balance. Uh, does anybody have any questions about that? Yeah, if you want to simplify it, if you think of it like a scale or a weight, um, and if you guys want to know more about this, like composition, with the design elements and stuff, like I said, I'll be doing evening whiffs. You can check it out in the group. Um, like I'll be doing evening whiffs at night that we'll try to record, but I'll be just doing this kind of stuff like practicing and trying different things and you know answering questions, helping people out, stuff like that. It'll be just basically like a free stream. It won't be like a class schedule. So, you know, if you guys can make that, check it out. All right. So now let's do one with color. All right. Let's say we got I found a good example actually online for this one. Um, I mean, basically, like you just take like complementary colors. Complementary colors. Complementary colors can balance each other out like that. Now, if you had like the same color, same shape, and everything, um, it does have a balance to it, but like a, it's kind of stationary. But if you do like that, and I went over this too during the perspective, the simplified perspective elements too. But yeah, so that's pretty much how you would balance things out with color. Just you know, just a little bit change of the shape or proportion or the values or the colors can you know can make a difference. All right. So are we good on balance? Are we good for me to go ahead and move on to the next one? Okay. So contrast plays a lot with like let's just do like values. Okay. Let's make a black. Let's just make a black square, a black canvas. Okay. And now let's go ahead and just like draw something, I don't know, like a flower or something. Okay, so instantly your eyes are drawn to this flower, right? It's not drawn to any of this over here, unless I put that over there. But it's not drawn to really anything else. It's just drawn to the flower itself. It's, the contrast is making your focus go right there. And that's also using negative space, negative and positive space. All right. Give another example. Contrast is basically self-explanatory, really. The more contrast you have, the more it will read. Oops. Okay, so with it on the background, with it on the black background, this reads more in comparison to the background. All right, it just pops more. It just pops out. All right. I touched on this too during the other class as well. Oops. And the more contrast you have, the better. Let's go ahead and copy this. Show you the difference. If you like, if you put something else next to this. So let's copy this down. The same object. Let's put it back here. So all right. So you guys understand it up to this point? Right now I'm going over the contrast with colors. Okay. All right. So basically, all right. So let's say you got like, these values, okay? You have, these real dark gray values with the black. Now the grays are definitely contrasting with the black, of course. But let's say you do this and you add a color right there. Instantly your eye is drawn to that red, right? So it's wherever your contrast is the most, whether it's color, value, lighting, you know, shapes, um, textures, wherever your eye is drawn the most, or wherever your contrast is the most, that's where your eye is going to be drawn to. I can even move it all the way back, and you can still see the eye is instantly drawn to the red because it's separated from the rest. And that's all contrast is. It's just separation. All right. It, also like emphasis. So there's an example of color. Even if I put like a blue, let's not make it too bright. So let's go ahead and move to what's the next one? Do you guys you understand that? Contrast is basically self-explanatory, just like focus and stuff like that. All right, so let's go and move to emphasis, and this is another one that's self-explanatory too. This is another one that I've been going over um, countless times. The focal, the emphasis. All right. So once again, let's just draw. Let's just create like a person. All right, so there we got our robust person. All right, now let's say the same person, and let's change them up a bit. Call them whatever you want. Let's actually let's use value for this one. Okay, let's make them a little bit. Let's drop them down a little bit in value, and let's move them over. All right. So your attention's drawn to the left, right? I mean the right, right? Your attention would be drawn more to the right because it's brighter, right? So that's where that's your emphasis. That's your focal. Okay, now let's let's actually take this character once again, duplicate them, put them back here, and we'll blur them out. All right, once again, your emphasis is drawn to the right. So, I mean, there's really not much to say about uh, emphasis, I think. Um, like I said, it's self-explanatory. I've been going over it like over and over again during critiques and stuff. Um, Everything plays in with it. Contrast, value, um, the same, just like the example that I showed with the circles. I had all the gray circles, and then I had it pop out with the red circle. That's your emphasis. And to achieve emphasis, um, you can use lines, you can use shape, you can use contrast, you can use, um, uh, implied lines. You can use implied lines. You can use color, uh, you know, all that stuff to, to make your focus pop. All right. So that's emphasis. If you guys want more on that, then I gotta move along because I'm running out of time. But if you guys want more on that, I'll be more than happy to go over it more. Because especially like during the evening lifts, um, when I'm sketching, I can cover that a lot more with you. Show you different things. All right, let's clear that out. All right, so let's move along. And now we're on movement. Okay, and movement, and this is movement actually also plays with the go with like the golden ratio. Okay, um, movement is basically it's just your eye. It's the viewer's eye moving along the scene. Okay, um, with implied lines. Um, so basically, okay, here I'll show you. I'll show you some examples. All right. So here we have a road. All it is two lines. Instantly, you're going this way. You're drawn to go back into the distance. All right. And that's what lines, help you achieve with movement. All right. Same thing with a curve. Um, draw a better one. Same thing with a curve. Your eyes are led to go back, right? And all this is really, it's just the underlying, like I said earlier, it's the underlying structure. It's the underground grid work, the foundation. And this could be played in so many different ways. Um, you could have you could have buildings or like little blocks going back like this. They could be like buildings. Okay, there's your movement. And it just allows the eye to move around. If you had, um, let's say you had like a circle right here, and then one right here, another right here, and so on, so forth. Oops. And it's just going in a spiral. Actually, I meant for those to be smaller, but that's your movement. Okay. Um, you could have something like, say, like a tunnel. Let's see. It's not much of a tunnel, but then you could have another one like right there. All right. And then another one smaller than that. So it gives the sense that you're kind of moving down or further back. It gives the illusion, right? See what I'm saying? It's kind of like a wormhole or a tunnel, um, you know, going back into the distance. Yeah, exactly. You just keep on. Oops. See, something like that. So yeah, so like movement can be used in just numerous, like many different ways. It's a great tool to move the eye, um, with implied lines, curves, angles, uh, diagonal, horizontal, vertical, you know, anything that you can use to your disposal, uh, to, to move the viewer around. All right, so let's go ahead and let's jump to rhythm. Uh, rhythm is rhythm in a way is a lot like movement, I think. Um, Rhythm is basically the aesthetic pleasing, like movement of the scene, like moving the eye in a rhythmic way, kind of like music notes. So say like you have, I mean, just like the example that I just showed. You have like you have like a square. Hold on, why is the square showing up? All right. Yeah, exactly, Tanchi. Exactly. That's a good example. Yeah, so you're just moving. You just, you know, that's really all rhythm is right there. Um, okay. And also, rhythm can be achieved with different colors, values, contrast. Um, I showed an example of this with movement, but like you could have like, stuff going back like this, lines or telephone poles or whatever. And really, it's just a tool to move the viewer's eye. You could have like a circle right there. Oops. Okay, so something like that. You could have let's see. You could have like a winding. You could have like a winding stairway. Um, you know, it's really a lot like movement. Like rhythm is really a lot like movement, except movement is the underlying structure. All right, that's what you're laying down. That's what you're laying down when you're planning out your composition. The actual rhythm is what's given off with your scene. You know, like what is actually moving around the scene. Okay, so that makes sense. Yeah, yeah, exactly. kind of like so you have like a winding stairway. See, I don't want to go into too much detail, um, but if you understand like the foundation part, if you understand like the movement, then you understand that the rhythm is basically what you're drawing. Okay, it's what you're drawing that is actually moving the eye. Okay, the underlying part is just the implied lines. All right. See, I could go into detail, like I could draw like, you know, something out, but um it might it might take a little long. Um so like some stairs or something. So as long as you understand that, that's another one if you guys want me to show you like, you know, in stream or whatever, so I can go into more detail about it. Like I said, do some research on it yourself. Check out you know, just type in rhythm and composition, you know, and there's a lot of different examples um, that can help you with that. All right, so now let's go to Unity. Uh, Basically, like okay, like I said, Unity is bringing all everything together. Okay, so if you have the movement, I don't think I'm gonna really draw anything out for this one. I'm just gonna say if you have everything in the scene, then you have unity. All right. If you have the balance, if you have the emphasis, if you have the movement, um, the rhythm, contrast, everything. So if everything just falls into place, then that's your unity. That's what you have. That's you have that harmony of everything just piecing together, you know, and it's pleasing. Okay. So really, I mean, that's all Unity is. I could go in and draw everything out, but you know, you guys should know that um, it'll actually take me a while to demonstrate everything. But yeah, so just by what I explained, you should know that Unity is just a culmination of everything brought together. Exactly, yeah. Not it's not chaotic. It's not, you know, all over the place. You know, it's just everything that's, you know, coming together. It's um the general flow of the scene. And there's really nothing really not much to say about Unity. So that's pretty much it. Um as far as far as the element of design goes. Friday I'll be covering the rest of composition with the golden ratio, the rules of third, the rules of odd, the rules of odds, the rules of space. Um, so thank you. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, pattern. Yeah, you could think of it like as a texture. Um, it's basically just a stream texture like happening. Um, it's kind of like a I don't know, like a puzzle piece um, playing out on your you know, whatever object, character, or whatever. Pattern is it's similarities that are um, in the scene, if that makes sense. Similar objects, similar shapes. Like I said, if you're not unsure about something, you're unclear, you know, feel free to research it, look it up. Thank you. I appreciate it.